How are you? Thanks for joining. We're so glad you're here with us.
I'm Daron.
And I'm Brooke.
And we're excited to just hang out with you for the next few minutes talking about different things, but today is special time, especially in November.
That's right.
Here, we just celebrated Thanksgiving.
And so today's show, we're going to talk about something a little more serious, which is how to deal with grief and loss during the holidays.
Yeah, it's a tough season for so many out there. And maybe you feel alone, maybe you feel like nobody else is experiencing what you're facing, but most everyone has lost someone in some way, form, or fashion. Maybe it's through divorce, maybe it's through death, but we can maybe encourage one another today and how to find some happiness in this time, in this season.
Yeah, so we want to share our stories, which I'm going to let you start that in just a second. But then we're also going to share some practical ways that maybe if you're walking through this, we want to help you, but also if you know someone, we want to be encouragement to others. So we're going to get to those. But before we jump into that, Dee, first of all, we want to say welcome, because this is new for us.
We're so glad you've joined us.
We're so glad you've joined us. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can actually go to ourfarmerhouse.com, and we have kind of an interactive platform there where you can watch it live. We're going to be sharing some fun products and having some links and polls, but you only get to experience it on ourfarmerhouse.com.
Make sure you go there so we can connect to you and just talk with you back and forth.
Yes, but if you are watching it on Facebook and YouTube, we would love for you to do what, Daron?
Click and share.
That's right. Yeah, click and share. Share us with your friends so we can stay connected.
Be encouraged. Be encouraged today.
Yeah.
So we're talking about loss and talking about this season. Maybe it's in the season of Christmas and Thanksgiving. It seems like many people have lost loved ones and for some reason in these different November,
December. It's especially hard. And we want to first say you're not alone, because Daron and I have both experienced loss. And for those watching, you may not know Dee's story, so why don't you share just a little bit about your story?
Well, in 2014, my lovely wife of 17 years, Ashley, passed away of stage 4 inflammatory breast cancer. And we walked through that process for about a year and a half. And at that time, my daughter Haley was 6, my son was 10, and Ashley was a strong woman of faith. But in her last breath, she struggled. She took her last breath in my arms in our home that we just built a year prior. And so we'd experienced some tough times. And after her passing, I had to decide as a husband and or more importantly as a father, to get up and keep moving forward. And that was one of Ashley's statements to me. You keep living for those kids, keep moving forward, keep sharing the gospel. That was the other thing she would tell me. So she was a woman of faith, but I couldn't just sit in the bed and get discouraged and be defeated. So
But I can't imagine. We talk about how hard it must have been.
Oh, it was tough. It's the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. But I had to find some way. And one place that I found comfort and peace in was that I kept moving, but also kept Ashley's memory alive in the life of Haley and Ethan.
And so I think that's so important, because we, coming into your life, I will say, you don't always know how to deal with those situations. So if you're watching, maybe you've been on the side where Daron has been and experienced the loss, or myself, you're coming into a new situation and you're like, what do I do? So sometimes you don't know. And so I would say that you encouraging me to talk about her, to ask the kids about her, has been so helpful, not only in this situation, but helping others that are walking through it. I think they want to talk about their loved one.
And they want to, sometimes they don't know how to. And the best way to do it is just start. And maybe you start with jokes and things that used to make you laugh about them.
Say good things.
Communicate.
Because you always talk about Ashley's big smile.
Big smile.
And how she was so fun and, lucky go.
Huge hugs. She always hugged everybody real hard.
And so talking about the good things. But I would say if you're going to a holiday and you're going to be with someone, just talking about that person is going to be helpful.
Yeah, break down those walls and don't make it a taboo. Make it a time of celebration
and
encouragement to someone else. On the flip side, maybe someone who's watching today and they've walked through divorce like yourself, and you've experienced that time of loneliness and isolation. Talk a little bit about that, how people can, if you're walking through that right now, how you came out of it, how you struggled, but you also overcame.
Well, one of the reasons that we wanted to do this show was because we wanted to be relatable, because our lives have not been perfect. So as you shared, I did walk through a hard season. I got divorced when Easton was really young. And so I will say, you know, there were a lot of things that are hard about divorce. Many of you watching maybe have been through it. You know, you're more than welcome to share your experiences. Let us know in the comments. But the sharing of children, right? I had 50-50 custody.
Yeah.
So that's hard. We don't talk about how hard that is. And so I would say what helped me during that time is I didn't isolate.
That's good.
I wanted to, because I'm extremely introverted. Darren is our extroverted cowboy.
Right.
He loves going out.
Put me on the horse.
Yeah. He's always wanting to be out and around people, but I'm kind of the complete opposite, where I like to isolate. And so just being intentional to get out and go to the parties, you know, go out with friends, don't stay at home alone. So that would be my tip. And then here's kind of, it may be silly to some of you guys, but it's just a real story. And I love being real with people. When I went through a divorce my first year, that Christmas, I can remember the hardest part of it was opening Christmas cards.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would see all of the pictures. They were beautiful, the happy families. And I can just remember that that was like a reminder to me of what I had just lost.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I did?
Tell us. Somebody's watching right now.
Right. And if you're struggling with that, I actually, you know, set a boundary, and I said, okay, this is difficult. And I put all those Christmas cards in a box, and I decided that I would open them after Easter. Okay. But the funniest part of that, and while I'm kind of getting laughing talking about it, is people sent me gifts. So here I was at Easter opening up like money and sweet cards. So
those are the best kind.
Yeah. Anyways, but that was just something I remember. So I would say, don't isolate during that time. And then also self-care is so important. Like, take care of yourself. Make sure, you know, I'm big into physical activity. You're working out, you're, you know, setting aside time so that maybe when you don't have your children, you can kind of invest in yourself and make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and maybe something like not feeling like you can't talk about it with other people and feeling like you're alone. Again, not dealing with isolation, but communicating your feelings. That's what I was getting to. Communicate how you're feeling about the process helps with healing, right?
Helps with healing. We're really big on expressing our feelings. You'll probably watch these shows and say, man, she loves to journal, but I absolutely do. I love to journal. I love to write my feelings down. And so I would say expressing your feelings is something that's important.
And here's something else, especially if you have children, like Brooke did in her particular case. Talking to your kids about, maybe not in all depths, but sharing how you're going to continue to live life and celebrate life, and life ain't over, you know, and then don't talk bad about the other spouse. I think
that's so important.
To the child.
Absolutely. Like, keep adult conversations out of their conversation, wouldn't you say? Really good advice. And then, you know, we obviously, you know, are men and women of God. We love Jesus. And so I would say, if you're walking through this, we're going to say, read, pray, and really just stand on the promise that God doesn't change.
He doesn't change, and he's never going to fail. The circumstance may look bad, and in our case, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a divorce, but no matter how bad it is, God's love never changed, and his plans still remain, and promises remain the same. So I enjoy reading a book that actually I think you have on the link on the website, and talks about the promises of God.
Oh yeah, that's so good. And we're going to share a couple of these with you, but this one, it was given to us, and it's beautiful. It's a coffee table book, but it's just filled with beautiful pictures, but the promises of God. So just as a reminder to yourself, if you've gone through loss, but also as just a practical way to give a gift of encouragement to someone that has walked through loss, we would definitely share this and recommend it. That was really, really good about the promises of God.
Yeah, don't let that be a deflector of the reality, because reality is one thing, but then you have to continue to stay focused on where you're going for tomorrow.
That's right.
Where
You've
you're
got
at
to
right
keep
now,
living.
You got to keep living. It
and,
doesn't mean
and being encouraged. And we hope that our story, I can tell you that I could not have imagined those 6 years that I was single, getting remarried, having Ethan and Haley as a blended family with Easton, and truly what our life looks like today. And I'm sure you probably have a similar story.
It's an amazing experience. that I'll have my best friend back, and I have a mother for my children, I have a wife for myself, and man, I get to pick on her all the time,
and
kiss and love and squeeze on her. But life has only just begun as far as I'm concerned. We've been married now, what, 5 years?
5 years.
Come on.
So just let that serve as just a true testament to when you're walking through this. It may not be there right now, but if you keep, stay encouraged, have hope that tomorrow's going to look different.
Now, one of our scriptures says, weeping endures for the night,
but joy comes in the morning. So good. Okay, and then y'all might be wondering, like, what's up with the pumpkin bread? And of course, you guys know we love coffee. We absolutely love it. And this is my cute little coffee mug. I have these on sale on the website, so you can actually go check it out, or you can follow the link and get that. But you guys, this is our favorite pumpkin cream bread. I have the recipe on the website, and we're actually going to cook it in the kitchen. Did you know that?
No, but I'm looking forward to it because I love to bake.
Yeah, it's so good. You've already been eating yours.
This is off the charts. I don't really like pumpkin, so if you're not a pumpkin liker, don't...
Pumpkin lover.
Don't turn away until you taste the goods, okay? Because it's really good.
It's really good.
You should take a bite.
I know, I'm going to take a bite. But before, I wanted to have a quick gift for you guys. I have a holiday cookbook. 18 easy and delicious recipes.
Yes.
You guys want to get it, so make sure if you want to, there's going to be a place where you can say yes and then be prompted to give your email address, and I want to get that to you guys.
I love to bake.
He does actually love to
bake.
This
is baking.
This is baking, and so you're right, you do love to do this.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. Okay, so y'all know I'm all about easy recipes. So we're gonna start with a spice cake mix, okay? So I'm gonna let you cut that open, add it to the bowl, and then while he's getting that ready, we're gonna go in with a lot of pumpkin, you guys. I love pumpkin, so we're gonna use a can of pumpkin.
Little pumpkin there.
Yep, and this is gonna be for the pumpkin filling part of the cake.
Not gonna lie, pumpkin on its own, I'm not a big fan of. I think I said that earlier.
Yeah, you did, but
this dessert has definitely
changed it, right? It's so good. Okay, Dee, I want you to crack these 2 eggs for me.
Speaking of eggs, these are straight from the farm.
I know. So those of y'all that don't know, we actually live on a farm in the east part of Cincinnati. And here you can throw them away right there, or just put them right back in that bowl. And we have chickens, we have cows, or longhorns,
alpacas,
horses. I don't know why I went blank just really quick. Okay, and then we're gonna add a half a cup of brown sugar.
Put that sugar in there, baby.
Right there. 2 eggs, and then half a cup of oil. Okay, and one of the things I like to do is I like to always give substitutions. So if you want to substitute this out for applesauce, you definitely will save on calories. Okay, hold on. I also have a little bit of pumpkin spice, nutmeg, and then a little bit of cinnamon.
Get that.
And we're gonna add a little bit of baking powder. Okay, Dee, get busy. Blend that together. And while he's doing that, you guys, we're gonna work on the cream cheese frosting. And this is what gives it so much sweetness. It's delicious.
Now see, you can be a man and still use power tools and not feel too feminine. This is a manly thing to do, right?
Right. It's it's like the baking tool of like a power tool, right? Like you get to mix it.
Look
now,
at that.
Yeah, turn it
I
up
got
just a little
speed.
bit.
Look at that. It's kind of like my drill, you know?
Yeah, you get to make it. Okay, so he's gonna rinse those off, and so while he's doing that, we are going to make the cream cheese frosting. So you're gonna start with cream cheese, and then we're gonna do just a little bit of sour cream. And again, you can substitute this out with Greek yogurt if you wanna save on calories. And then we're going to add just a little bit of flour, and that's gonna thicken it up and make it a really nice consistency. I've got about half a cup of sugar. And then we're gonna do 1 egg for the cream cheese filling. Let's add the egg right there.
Now, did I hear you say that you also put in there yogurt?
Well, you can substitute out Greek yogurt. That's kind of like a skinny swap that you can use.
Okay.
And then today I use sour cream because I love the flavor that the sour cream adds. Okay, so now, Dee, you're just gonna beat this all together.
I think I got that in there right. You wanna check that?
Nope, let's switch it. No worries. So see, even though he thinks this is a power tool, he's not, but you did do the dishes, so I'm proud of you. Oh!
Easy.
Oh.
Don't lose a finger now. We are not responsible for finger loss.
Okay, here we go.
All right, now we're ready.
Okay, and then Dee, honestly, as I'm looking at it, this bowl
It's a little small.
is a little small. So
That's
I should
fine.
have thought about that. There we go.
All right. So we're doing homemade frosting.
Homemade frosting. And you're gonna have to turn up the speed just a little bit. And while he's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare you wanna get 2 loaf pans. You're just gonna spray those loaf pans really good.
So I'm getting a good consistency over here, so I think it's doing its job. Maybe I'm doing my job, I don't know.
You're doing your job, you're doing great.
If it's lumpy, it's not what you want, right?
No, you want it to be lump free, so make sure it's gonna take a minute. Turn it to high speed. This is gonna...
Hey, hold on, put your seatbelts on, here we go. High speed, all right. How about
All right, that looks good, that looks good.
All right.
Okay, perfect. So that's the frosting. All right, Dee, now what we're gonna do is you're gonna add...
I didn't even know this had frosting.
I know, right? Okay, so now I want you to go ahead. We're gonna add half of that to both pans, but let me just grab a spatula.
All right.
So we're gonna do half
Got it.
into this
Beautiful.
one. I honestly love cooking with you in the kitchen. We should do this more.
All right.
Okay. We're gonna add half of that and half of that.
Okay. You gotta have the right tools, gotta have the right lady.
All right, there we go.
And you gotta have patience for the process to come to fruition. How about that? That is looking good. baby.
Okay, and now we're just gonna smooth that out.
Wow. Now to look at that bread finished, I wouldn't have thought you even had that.
Yeah, because here's what we're gonna do. Then you're gonna swirl, whoops. Okay, so now you're gonna take a knife, and I'll let you do this. You just go through and cut and make swirls.
All the way through?
Yeah, just like, that's it.
Yep, look at here, see? So,
Okay, you've got it all mixed up. We're gonna bake it at 350 degrees for 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then join us on the other side because I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And plus we're gonna talk more about how to deal with grief and loss during this holiday season. I guess it's baking in the kitchen.
a little bit different.
A little bit different for sure. Well, as we get ready to leave you guys, we're so glad that you joined us. And as we had promised at the beginning, we have a few, I guess, encouraging products.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're trying to do is to really highlight local makers and dreamers. So these are people that, they just have beautiful products. And you can't find them on Amazon. So we're making them available to you. And so as we talked about today, this is actually a set you can find, and it's prayer and scripture, specifically for when you're going through a hard time. So I thought these were beautiful.
Like each day.
Well, you can kind of set them up.
Through.
You just can go through them, and there's a whole set. They're absolutely beautiful. So I wanted to show you guys those. And then we had mentioned it before, but this was given to us as a gift. And we want you guys to be able to share it, pass it along.
Encouraged us and
yeah, it's beautiful. It's for your coffee table, so it makes a great Christmas gift. And then we have this, which I love. It's called The Gospel, Hope in Grief and Loss. And it was specifically written for those that may be going through grief and loss. And so I think it's not only just a great encouragement to someone, but if you've actually went through that, this will be encouraging to you too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's all we have. And then let's set up for the next show. We're gonna be back next Wednesday. We're jumping into the holiday season. We've got a fun show planned for you guys. So make sure, join us Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and then encourage them to sign up for our newsletter.
You've got to get signed up on the newsletter, and that's at ourfarmerhouse.com.
Right? Yes, and
So make sure that you do your part. We'll keep doing our part, and we'll stay connected, all right?
All right, well, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining.